there's some trouble brewing in continental Europe, okay? Post-Brexit, I think the UK is pretty base and they're on the right track. For the most part, they need to recognize the fact that there's an overwhelming majority of people that don't want to be mandated to be staying at home any longer, and they don't want to be mandated to have diapers on their face for much longer because, I don't know, the thousands and closing in on like tens of thousands of people showing up to flood the streets on a weekly basis. Yeah, you got to take note of that, even as much as, news outlets don't want to cover it. You gotta make sure you know who's gonna be on your side whenever World War III eventually does break out, because you're gonna have the China, Iran, Pakistan, and you gotta figure out who the rest of their allies are gonna be against, depending on who's in the White House at the time. It could be the United States, the UK, and India. And as for Canada, I don't know, you kind of have a geographical alliance with the United States, but you can see where the fucking money's going with that cunt in office. We got a bunch of good stuff because we're kicking off the fucking long weekend, okay? For my friends down south, it's the long weekend. We up here, and in most of the other former Commonwealth countries, we had our big shindig last week, so we're going to be covering some funny stories, interesting stories, and weird stories. And I know, because most of the time, most people don't give a fuck about I've found out Biden a lot, very, very much so, based on view counts, but that's fine. You need to know about this kind of stuff, because this type of political malaise that a lot of people were experiencing from, well, the uniparty rule from, I would say, probably HW all the way through Obama, that led to the current situation we're finding ourselves in with Biden right now. So we need to keep up on this stuff, okay? And if for nothing else, I find it interesting. And then you got world politics itself, and especially what's happening in Belarus, and because YouTube is having a fucking real one again. I don't know what's happening, guys. Like, if you're watching this stuff on a consistent basis, I know it's kind of cliche and kind of hack to say it's like, make sure that you're still subscribed, because I, for whatever reason, was looking through my analytics, something I don't really tend to do that often, because mostly if I see that people are watching stuff, that's cool, that's wonderful. But when I load up my YouTube page, I'm in the backstage on the fucking tab that I have pulled up, so I won't bother pulling out any names or anything. But I noticed yesterday, like, you get this subscriber thing, and it tells you at the bottom, it's like who your new subscribers are, right? If they have that option public, right? And then I noticed it's like the new people that were on there, I can see their subscriber count next to their name. So it's like if a bigger channel decides to just sign up and likes what they hear, like everybody else out there, it tells me what their subscriber count next to their name is. And then yesterday I noticed everybody who is in the top 3 or 4, whatever you get to see on the little dashboard widget that's there, it immediately dropped to 0. And I found that a little bit fucking weird. And then I opened up today, and it turned out that I lost like 200 watch hours and nobody at all. 0 views last Friday, which was it's completely wrong because, well, as you guys know, every day I release 3 videos. And they all went out as usual, and nobody came to the channel. All of the videos did average or better than average. One of the videos was the Fulton County audit, and that one did extremely well for this channel. So YouTube's having one, and I know not a lot of people care about world politics, so I figured, hey, fuck it. I'm interested in this stuff, and what's happening in Belarus, more people need to know about it. So if you are some of the more dedicated people out there, and you like to know these interesting little lesser covered topics, well, we got a good one here, because what is going on over there is fucking weird. Really, really, really weird. And based on who's doing this, who we're going to get to, going to give you a little bit of a profile, because I don't know everything that's going on with this situation. But what I'm seeing right now, it looks like Belarus is going to be some kind of a match point in the very near future. Because the rest of Europe, the UK, and the US, obviously not in Europe, but they're also taking note of this, and Justin Trudeau is just counting off money to fucking Palestine and the CCP, so whatever. Those are the only people taking note of this right now. And they are said to be discussing coordinated sanctions against Belarus after its authorities arrested a prominent opposition journalist from a plane diverted to the country with a bomb alert on Monday. Yeah, this situation, I didn't hear a whole hell of a lot of it, but that could also just be a blind spot on my behalf. But I kind of troll a fair amount of news channels, and I see next to nothing on this, so I don't know. The flight from Irish budget airline Ryanair was on its way to Vilnius, Lithuania, from Athens, Greece. Oh my god, so That sounds like a setup to a joke. I was taking an Irish plane from Lithuania to Greece, and who owns it? The Jews. The Belarusian president, Alexander Lukashenko, ordered the fighter jet to escort it to the land in Minsk. Raman Pratasevich? Sounds right. The co-founder of the Telegram messaging app's Nexta channel was arrested when the plane landed and is facing charges that could carry a prison sentence of up to 15 years. And what are his charges? Speaking out against the government. Coming to a government near you. That's why we need to cover this stuff. Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary, oh my god, that guy is the mickiest mick that ever micked, described the incident as a first for a European airline and is a state-sponsored hijack. Speaking to Irish station News Talk, O'Leary said it was clear that the intent of the Russian authorities was to remove a journalist and his traveling companion. And he believes that some KGB agents... Oh my god, listen. Okay. It's a separate country. It used to be a part of the European or the socialist bloc, but the difference between Lukashenko and Putin can't be understated. But they are friends and they are allies on the board. But we'll get to his background here shortly. We just need to get to this situation first. The KGB agents were also offloaded from the aircraft, evacuating a passenger who told Reuters that there appeared to be more empty seats on the final Minsk-Vilnius journey. Vilnius? I think that's Vilnius, because saying Vilnius is just maybe too apt if we're talking about communists. Journey, and then it took off from Athens. O'Leary and said Ryanair will have a detailed debrief on Tuesday with NATO and EU authorities and asked them if Ryanair should fly around Belarus. Well, that's the actions that the United States Airlines are taking. Because this is the first of potentially more sanctions? Don't know, but this is the newest piece of information because we got more information as to this situation, and it definitely looks like some kind of not really a hostage situation, but it definitely looks like a videotaped struggle session. U.S. airlines should be extremely cautious while passing Belarus, the FAA said. Announced that U.S.-based airline companies should exercise extreme caution when flying over Belarus. Well, don't. You can pretty easily navigate its borders if you need to get into Russia, you need to get to Poland, or if you need to go drop off pierogies in one of my one of my home countries. Ancestrally. Never lived there. Don't really want to. The Transportation Agency and government body of the United States released a statement after authorities from Eastern European country forced diversion of a Ryanair flight and arrested a dissident journalist last week. The FAA's notice of that's air people, says airlines should continue to exercise extreme caution until the agency can better assess Belarus's actions surrounding the May 23rd diversion of a passenger jet and the potential for the Belarus to repeat similar actions in the future. The FAA is working closely with other U.S. agencies to determine whether any additional measures will be necessary and will evaluate an international investigation report to determine the risks of U.S. passenger airlines flying in the area. The FAA's notice does not affect cargo carriers such as UPS and FedEx, but you'd be smart to follow the same path that the FAA is taking because they know something's up. Late on Friday, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki described the flight patterning as circling back away from Belarus, or rather that the Biden administration will reimpose sanctions on Belarus on June 3rd. Why wait? While also advising Americans against traveling to Belarus. Yeah, why would you? The sanctions will target 9 Belarusian state-owned enterprises which had previously received sanction relief. Americans will be prohibited from dealing with these entities beginning on Thursday. We suggest you don't fly there, but we're also not going to be doing any business with them. And we're also telling everybody to not fly over Belarus. So you gotta know something is up. And especially with the videos that are coming out after these journalists and his girlfriend were detained for an indeterminate amount of time with charges that are just kind of nebulous and just kind of reek of being in the front of the party, comrade. And yeah, this is definitely a video that looks healthy and it doesn't look coerced whatsoever. It just looks like there should be a nondescript black background and somebody holding the daily paper. So a second video has been released following the arrest of Belarusian opposition journalist Raman Pratasevich and his girlfriend Sofia Sapega on Sunday. The pair were on their way to Vilnius, Lithuania from Athens, Greece, or when Belarus authorities, alerted their flight of a bomb threat and then had MiG fighter jets escort the plane to land in Minsk. According to the European Humanities University, a Belarusian university in Lithuania where Sapega is studying, Sapega was going back to Vilnius to defend her master's thesis after her vacation in Greece with Pratasevich. In the video, first posted on a pro-government Telegram channel on May 25th, where all the most honest and transparent videos get posted, it definitely didn't look like a coercion of epic proportions, but Sapega was sitting in a chair, speaking at a fast pace, and you could definitely see a gun barrel and just off screen, and looking around as though reciting something. I'm Sapega, Sofia Hendrovina. I was born on February 10th, 1998. I am a citizen of the Russian Federation. I live in Lithuania, Vilnius. On May 23rd, 2021, I flew in the same plane as Raman Pratasevich. I'm also an editor of Telegram channel Chernia Kigna, which publishes private information about internal affairs officers, the 23-year-old student said, of her own volition on video, I'm sure. Sapega's mother, Anna Dudich, told Reuters on Tuesday that she was worried about her daughter's health and safety. No, she looked fine. I mean, this is definitely the body language of somebody that looks like they want to be there delivering that message. The only thing that gives me pause about this story is that it's Reuters doing the reporting on it. Listen, Reuters has a expressed agenda, but at the same time, it's jailing journalists. So I'm of two minds on this one. And then what kind of tips me onto the edge that, these journalists didn't do anything wrong is the guy that we're going to be giving a little bit more of a spotlight on, because Alexander Lukashenko. And the only reason we got a better article, and I don't like to do Wikipedia journalism because I'm not a part of BreadTube, is just to give you a little brief background and what his affiliations are and who he finds himself running in the same circles as. Lukashenko heads an authoritarian government, has been referred to in media outlets as Europe's last dictator. No, that's Putin, because Putin man bad and everything's behind and Russian bots and stuff. Instead, when they can point to somebody actively making a communist country right in front of everybody's eyes. And as you can see, he is first president of Belarus, comrade, of course, and multiple prime ministers and no official affiliation other than fact he used to be chairman of the Supreme State Council of the Union State. Sounds fun. Chairman of the Council of Ministers, evil Vladimir Putin, Mikhail Kasynyov, Mikhail Frodkov, lots of ovs. Oh, Dmitry Medvedev, another man of mystery. And what else did he used to be part of? Well, Communist Party of Soviet Union, friend, of course. He also served with 120 Guards Motor Rifle Division. And this guy is walking stereotype, give birth to children Victor, Dmitry, and Nikolai. I mean, my God. Like, if you're looking for somebody to point at to be carrying out old school Soviet tactics, it would be Lukashenko, okay? Like, just look at this guy. He could be standing next to Stalin in one picture and then a couple years later in the same picture not be there anymore. But he is, the brutal dictator. Evil Belarus dictator Alexander Lukashenko has been desperately clinging to power during his decades-long oppressive reign. Yeah, he's been there just about for my entire lifetime. I think it said 94. And, if the Kremlin's gun-toting ally isn't hijacking passenger planes, he's busy overseeing the brutal punishment of his opponents, who are kept in a line with electric shocks, severe beatings, and broken bones. That's just what he does to his girlfriends. Who is the president, by the way? Well, here's a couple of other red flags that I just like, okay, this guy's not sitting right with me at all whatsoever. Not like he was to begin with anyways, but Lukashenko's glowing biography describes him as the people's politician. Nothing really wrong with that, a lot of people do, but again, this is another person that would fall under the category of like Kim Jong-il, where he would be running the party of the People's Republic of North Korea. So it's another one of those things that socialists and communists tend to do where they pervert language. And especially here, this one throws up a big red flag. Or he unironically refers to himself as Batka, father, in Belarusian. Yeah, that's weird. It's like, oh, well, Trump is called the God Emperor online. It's like he doesn't refer to himself as that, one. And two, who can really control what shit posters say online? It whinges about his difficult childhood, which helped forge his character of steel and molded outstanding leadership qualities. Why was it difficult? Because he grew up in the Soviet Union, born in 54 in the town of Kops, Orsha district, Vitebsk Oblast. He enjoyed sport and communist music, which is definitely not grading, and same drum beat over and over again. You cannot escape it. Oh, and he comes from a single mom. Beta! Who could have seen that coming? Lukashenko had 2 university degrees, graduating from Kulshilov Moglovev State Pedophile Institute. Oh no, Pedagogical Institute, where he majored in history. State history, comrade, where a glorious revolution brought about great prosperity for Mother Russia. By 75, he was conscripted into the army and he served with the border troops from 77 until 1990. Great year. Lukashenko worked in the food industry, overseeing collective farms when he was elected president in 94. For decades, Lukashenko has steadily consolidated his power through an authoritarian means and a centralized economic system. What does that sound like? Outside of Belarus, the 66-year-old is decried as Europe's last dictator. He's called that for a good reason. Let's find out why. For over a year now, the strong man in Minsk has waged war on the Belarusian people, writes Joberg Forbig, director of the Central and Eastern European and German Marshall Fund of the United States in Politico. Calling out collectivism without calling it collectivism. It's funny. In 2020, for example, he faced extreme pressure to step aside after he declared himself victor in an allegedly rigged election. This is in Belarus. There was no other rigged elections in 2020, okay? Just in Belarus, and that's what's being claimed here, right? Just that one. Only that one. Hundreds of thousands of fuming people bravely filed streets to voice their condemnation, with state workers going on strike. But an enraged and paranoid Lukashenko hit back hard. Creepy mustache man bad. Consumed with wreaking revenge, this reads like a fucking fan fiction. The internet was cut off by the regime, and Belarusian security forces arbitrarily detained thousands of people. Now it's sounding like big tech. Systematically subjected hundreds to torture and other ill treatment in the days following the August 9th presidential election, Human Rights Watch said. It added the victims described beatings, prolonged stress positions, electric shocks, and at least in one case, biting the pillow and thinking of the motherland. They had serious injuries, broken bones, cracked teeth, skin wounds, electric burns, and mild traumatic brain injuries. Some had kidney damage. Oh, yay. God, this guy sounds like a fucking barrel of laughs. To date, more than 35,000 Belarusians have been arrested, thousands have been abused and tortured in police custody, and thousands more face criminal charges and long-term prison sentences. Great. Let's get to why this guy's being referred to as a tin pot dictator, and while he's taking every single instance of dissent very personally and handling it by, fucking hijacking international flights. Alexander Lukashenko claimed victory after Belarus vote in August 2020, but the EU is adamant the election was rigged. The United States announced sanctions on 8 officials it claimed had roles in the fraudulent election. UK and Canada have already imposed travel bans and asset freezes on Lukashenko, his family, and other top officials, the state broadcaster adds. A joint statement was issued by the missions of the US, the UK, Switzerland, and the EU in 2020 following the Lukashenko's controversial re-election. It said, "We stand in solidarity with the people of Belarus who demand respect for the fundamental freedoms and basic human rights through free and fair elections. Since the elections, we have witnessed the brutal and disproportionate use of force by law enforcement authorities against peaceful protesters and ordinary citizens. We join the families of the victims in their sorrow. It is with their grief and in disbelief that we have witnessed the loss of life, the suffering, and violations of human dignity and justice in Belarus." So yeah, this guy's definitely not going to be going down without a fight, but the people are definitely against him, because you can see this picture here, and it is not inconsequential the amount of people who are, just about sick of this fucking tin pot despot. I wonder how many of these people have been sent off to the gulag. God, that's kind of unfortunate, but based on the reports that we've seen, yeah. So I don't know, is this going to be another one of those rise up and overthrow situations, or is it going to be a foreign interference situation? Is this going to be resolved anytime soon? Who fucking knows? The fact that this isn't getting nearly as much coverage as the 11-day war in the Middle East, once again, just kind of raises up a few more flags. So at least Biden's telling people not to fly over there. So perhaps that's the first step, and there could be some funny shit happening in the near future. Perhaps. I don't know. That's all we got so far. It's tough not to call this one like it is. Brutal dictator, embraces communism, leaves people displeased and infuriated by a rigged election. Like I said, we got some different, more enjoyable topics to talk about, and yeah, this is about as dark as it gets. It sucks for people in Belarus. It sucks for people in mainland Europe because, oh my god, every time one of these fucking collectivists rise up, it always ends badly. Mostly for them and for people who like their private property, and we've had way too many instances of that area finding itself in conflict, and you don't really need a repeat of that again, especially not with the fucking goofs we have in power at the moment. And with that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.